BoxBox Hub is an absolute essential for any Formula One fan, and the entire app with new widgets, statistics, localized race schedules, and countdowns, you name it. They even have support for Apple's new live activities feature with real-time updates during a race right on the lock screen, and honestly, some of the best looking widgets I've seen.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are back for silver. I am back in the comments box after quite a while, to be honest. But we are here. We are ready to get going for the 18th round. We're a bit early. The 16th round of the season. And we are ready to get going for round 16 here in Japan. It looks like we are counting down now and ready to kick off the race, or the qualifying firstly, to start us underway here in Japan. Welcome back to the stream. Welcome to the stream for those who are new to us as well. We are ready to get going here for Japan finally. It's been a bit of a pause as we get ourselves going. Hello from Kaz, bonjour from Gordo, and thank you for the sub, Riyadh, as well. Riyadh there. Let's go in the comments as well. Good stuff indeed. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to Japan, and welcome to Suzuka. And hopefully we can get ourselves ready to get going. I think we're missing somebody, unfortunately, but we are ready to get going now, and hopefully audio-wise, visual-wise, everything is nice and dandy for you guys in the comments. You can see the stream and everything like that. Like I said, we are ready to get going. It's nice and sunny here in Suzuka compared to last night in Gold. If you haven't seen the Gold race last night, of course, the return for Gold as well after the 2-week break. It was epic and it was rainy. So there we go. That's all you need to worry about, really. All you need to know to go back and watch that one. It was absolutely impeccable. It was in chaotic, and it was fantastic to race in and to watch as well. But glad to be racing, says Kaz. Once again, of course, Kaz has been back in the seat quite regularly since his return there from his I think it was his work escapades, but thankfully he is back in the racing fold. Unfortunately, just reserving for the time being, but hopefully we can see him back full time very soon. Makoni is another new driver there, reserving in the AlphaTauri tonight in place of Craig R, I think it is, and then we've got Vessia there in the McLaren from Mumford, and somebody else, Crusty T there in the Williams for Golden Wolf, I believe it is. Unfortunately, I think it's the other AlphaTauri of KD who hasn't joined us, so he will be getting a slap on the wrist there from the admins in. Riyadh has said, Riyadh put a nice little waving emoji, and Gordo has said it's a dry race, so it's going to be dry there, it looks like, here for silver. Of course, last night in Gold was a full qualifying format, Q1, Q2 and Q3 in silver, and bronze tomorrow night as well at 7:30 p.m. It is a short qualifying format, and then of course on Wednesday it's a one-shot qualifying format for F2, who are also going to be racing around Suzuka here on the Wednesday night. So we've got plenty more action here at Suzuka to come for you, but first we have got silver to take us through this fantastic figure of 8, or historic figure of 8 circuit. Of course, it's the only F1 circuit with a figure of 8 figure of 8 configuration, I should say. As flying through there is a Haas car, I think, of Jinnah, just getting his sights set on the world, on the track, and ready to get going. Here we go then, nice and sunny, like I was saying, here in Suzuka, and it looks like the Haas of Jinnah is going to be the first driver out on track to set the times alight as he goes around the second degner there towards the hairpin as well. Underneath the track there, of course, that's AWS sign. There is the bridge where you go, of course, underneath the track there on the first few corners, and then over the track there as you go over 130R there at the end of the lap. So it's an interesting circuit to say the least there, and of course one steeped in history, of course, but we'll have to see if there's going to be any history here crowned tonight. I don't think there's going to be any championships or any titles won here in Suzuka tonight for silver, but we have seen some in the past in real life Formula 1, of course. But like I said, not tonight there. It's just all for glory, all for pride here in Suzuka tonight for silver. Round 16 of 22. 23. I've completely forgotten how many rounds we've got this season. It's a long one, isn't it? I think we've got 7 rounds left, including this one. So that would make it 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Make it a 22 race season, that is. So we've still got quite a bit of racing to come there. We're in the third sector, I should say, of this Grand Prix, of this season. We have got 16 rounds or 15 rounds done and dusted already after Singapore about 3 weeks ago now, after the 2-week break there in between Singapore and Japan. And that was due to the USA and the Mexican Grand Prix in real life. They're clashing with the gold start time. So that is why the break week was enacted. But there we go. Then we are back racing here once again. And a nice dry race there for Gordo there, which I think hopefully Gordo is looking forward to. As into Degner 1 there, flying through Degner 1 there goes the Haas of Jinnah there, into Degner 2 as well, getting a bit caught up on the curve there on the exit there. That can unsettle the car. We've seen a few accidents there in this game with that curve there, unsettling the car. Around the hairpin we go, and looking good so far, apart from that little bit of a problem there on the exit there of the Degner 2, but he's got himself back underway there. He's unfazed, is Jinnah, as he now goes round the spoon curve there towards the next long straight, or the longest part of the circuit really. This is the straight towards 130R there, and you fling the car in and hope that it sticks. And in the case of the wet conditions last night, it was definitely a hope and pray that it stuck as well. But he's gone flying through there with no problems at all, has Jinnah. And now through the Casio triangle there, the final couple of corners there, down the hill towards the start-finish line there, and hugging the tight line towards the pit wall as he goes into P1. Or of course he goes into P1 as he has, of course, the driver set a time. Unfortunately, we've got an accident there for Kamara Racer. He's off the circuit, and Kamara Racer is out of qualifying. Was there as well as he's only one out of qualifying so far. And unfortunately, it looks like a big smash there for the Aston Martin drivers. McConey goes faster still with a 28.255 there on his reserve debut, of course, in the AlphaTauri there. Here comes Gordo though round the Casio triangle as well. And again down the hill towards the start-finish line there. It's 29.4 for the Red Bull driver, Krusty T, getting out the way there of the cars coming through. And he needs to get out of the way of the Haas as well, who is, I think, pot stuff coming through. Dylan there into P4, but he's not done a representative time there. We've been accustomed of Dylan there, of course, getting on the podiums, getting some good big points here in silver. Of course, he was one of the championship challengers. Krusty T getting out of the way again of more cars coming through there. V Todd just starting a lap there into P1. Goes sweet MJP into the 27s as well. The Williams driver, a 27.794. This is where his season hopefully can kick on. We've seen some great pace from him, 1 lap pace there from Sweet MJP, but unfortunately it's just not materialised in the Grand Prix itself. In the races is where you get the points, of course, and he needs to try and maximise the race performance as well as the qualifying performance. He's not got any problems there with the 1 lap pace. It just needs to be the consistency there in the 27 laps, of course, that we're following here in Japan as well, and the rest of the laps as well that are coming up in the rest of the season as well, that is. But Sweet MJP currently on pole position, looking good indeed. He is half a second almost ahead of P2 CRL Marconi there in P2 in the AlphaTauri. Let's have a look and see who's going to be next across the line. I think we're going to have a McLaren here of Vessia coming down the hill as well on his lap. No, he's just finishing off a lap, I think. He is just finishing off a lap, but he's going to go again. I think is again not the fastest lap time, not representative lap time there for the McLaren driver. Mr. Elite is ploughing up the hill. Gordo just getting out of the way there. He's in P6 currently, down to P7, I should say, as Dylan has done a representative time this time of a 27.8. He's only half a tenth behind the pole sitter currently of Sweet MJP. That is pretty good from Dylan. But here comes Mr. Elite there. What can the Red Bull driver do? The other Red Bull driver there up into P6 with a 28.7 there. Good stuff indeed from Mr. Elite there. Very confident stuff indeed as he's coming back to the pit lane now. V Todd is in P8 there. He's done a 29.2 at the moment in the other Alpine. That is not too shabby indeed. Here comes Krusty T there in towards the Casio triangle. I think that entry is a bit off there. The angle just didn't look right, did it, for the Williams driver? Oh, as he goes round. Oh, I'm not quite sure what Tango's up, if he got caught up in that. But Tango out to the line, it's P5. And I'm not quite sure what Krusty T was up to there. It looked like he might have got in the way of the Aston Martin of Tango very slightly there as he was trying to come back to the pit lane there. But he was off the trying to get off the racing line. He was just trying to get himself back to the pit lane there, which unfortunately gets in the way, doesn't it, of the drivers coming around the fast few corners and to try and get themselves to the line as well. But Kamara Racer, the big casualty here in qualifying. It might be good for Kamara actually, because we've seen him have some great pace. Similar to Sweet MJP, he had some great pace there in qualifying, but it never materialised in the Grand Prix due to incidents, due to accidents. So hopefully he can have a nice calm start from the back of the grid and make his way through there over the course of the Grand Prix. Of course, it's only 27 laps, but it is quite a long race still. It was well, in the rain, it was about 50 minutes last night, wasn't it, in Gold? So it can take quite a while, especially with some safety cars. We had 2 safety cars, I think, last night as well. Yeah, it can take a while, especially if the drivers there going off the circuit, all shapes and sizes. But hopefully they can have it nice and clean there, especially for Smithy's liking. The Silver admin will be hoping for a nice clean race from the Silver drivers. They're on the return here for the Silver team and the Silver grid, I should say, after the 2-week break or so. Smithy said, let's go as well. Evening, Alex says, Serious Mushroom. Evening to Serious Mushroom as well. Yellow flags are fluttering. It's for an Alpine of V. Todd, I think. Trying to get himself back to the pit lane there, but Dylan there just going through as well. So I don't think he needs to worry too much, because I think everyone is coming back to the pit lane here. Dylan is flying over the curbs there, looking great indeed, flying in the F1 car. Yeah, thankfully he hasn't damaged the underfloor in that car, because that could be pretty serious indeed if he has done. Jenner is back out on track, I think, here, and again going through Degner 1. It's purple in sector 1. That is looking promising indeed, but again on the curb on the exit of Degner 2, which is unsettling that car. You can see it's really being sort of pulled along in a different direction to where he wants to point the car when he is on that curb, and that is I think costing him a bit of time. Now that might have cost him more time as well in sector 2 here for the Haas on his second attempt here as well, if he's on fresh soft compound tyres. So let's have a look and see now through Spoon Curve, as again going wide there, but he's managed to keep it within track limits somehow, and again he's now onto the straight there, up the hill towards the 130-yard corner. Yellow flag all over the circuit there. Not quite sure what is going on there, but hopefully they can clear themselves up and get themselves sorted. 130-yard there for the Haas once again, and he's got himself through very nicely indeed. And now into the Casio Triangle, heavy braking zone here, trying to get the car pointed in and turned in very nicely as well. Down the hill we go once again there to finish off the lap. Can he get himself in the 27s? It's going to be close. It's a 27.362. He unfortunately did not improve on that time, which we thought it would look pretty good indeed, but unfortunately at the end there, I just didn't have enough in the lap there to get himself up the order, which is a bit of a shame there for Jenner there. Here comes B Rabbit there, up into pole position on his first attempt there with a 27.354. That is 0.4 of a second ahead of Sweet MJP. That is a fantastic first attempt there from the Mercedes driver, the championship leader, of course, in the Mercedes. And he's looking to try and cement his championship contention in this race as well. In this qualifying, it's going to be shaking his rivals' boots, I think, at this stage, with that fantastic lap time, I should say, from the Mercedes there, and the B Rabbit there in the Mercedes. Fantastic stuff indeed. What a lap indeed, as well as McConey there coming back round to finish off another lap. Let's see what he can do. Can he get himself up the order as well? He's up into P2 there, right behind B Rabbit as well. He's 2.5 tenths off B Rabbit, I'm afraid, but he's still done a good lap time nonetheless. Jenner is back out on track, but I think he's coming back to the pillar. Not quite sure what is going on there. Jenner seemed to be shaking about in his boots there as well. Dopey Lemons is back out on track. Good stuff from him. We'll come back to him as well. Mr. Elite just starting a lap as well. V Todd is flying through the hairpin, so he's in sector 2 at the moment. Let's see what he can do as well. Let's have a look at Beast though. Beast, I think, is going to be the next driver across the line on a flying lap, that is. Unless he's just aborted his lap there. I don't think he had. I think he might have done, actually. Yeah, unfortunately, it looks like Beast has aborted his lap time there, so we'll have to come back to him as well. Krusty T is heading through into Degner 1. Let's have a look and see as Potstuff starts a lap there. Here comes Kaz down the hill towards the start-finish line. He has done a lap time there. He has got himself a time on the board, but he hasn't set a representative lap time just yet, unfortunately for him. Into the pits comes B Rabbit there. McConey coming back round to finish off his in-lap as well. Sweet MJP just starting a lap as well. Here comes Dylan starting his next flying lap also. We'll come back to that because Dopey Lemons, I think, unless it's Irvine going to be next across the line, I think, here in the McLaren. Let's see what we can do through the Casio Triangle now into the final quarter and trying to stay close to the right hand side there, but he's gone up to P8 nonetheless with a 28.415. Good stuff from Irvine there in the McLaren. Well done to him. And let's have a look and see who's going to be next across the line, because I think there's going to be much more action to come here in the next 5 minutes or so, as we we get ourselves underway for the restart, like I was saying, the restart of silver in this Suzuka Grand Prix. And Crusty T coming round to finish off his lap. Then it's a 29.5, and it puts himself into P14 there, ahead of Kaz, of course, who has not set a competitive time on the board just yet. Pot Stuff is coming up towards 130R there. The sector 2 line here did not flash purple there. I would have thought it would have gone purple for Pot Stuff because he's not a slouch on track at all. So let's have a look and see what he can do now, coming down the hill once again to finish off his flying lap, his first flying lap as well. And it is P4 there for the Haas driver. Fantastic stuff indeed. A 27.8 there on his first attempt. And like I said, the first attempts there for B Rabbit there and Pot Stuff have been pretty epic indeed, haven't they? After their, we would have thought it takes a bit of time to get yourself rubbered into the track, but well, not literally, but get yourself familiarised with the track, I should say, on your quali runs. But not for B Rabbit and not for Pot Stuff as well. They've done a fantastic job. They're getting themselves into the 27s with only one attempt as well. Here comes Dopey Lemons. They're trying to get himself into the 27s as well. And if he can get himself another 2/10 or so, he will be. If he can get himself another half a second or so, he could be onto the, or near to the front row of the grid. So it could be close indeed. Dopey Lemons is no slouch either. We've seen quite, well, to be fair, nobody in silver I don't think is much of a slouch, in my opinion, to be honest. But here comes Dopey Lemons down the hill toward, no, and he's abandoned his lap time. So there we go. Then that a commentator's curse, well, not the commentator's curse, the tricking of the commentator in full effect there from Dopey Lemons. Fantastic stuff indeed. Sweet MJP is back out on track, and I think he's coming back to the pit lane. No, he's not on a flying lap at this stage. Same for Pot Stuff as well. So it's a bit of a lull here in the qualifying as the drivers now just getting ready for their final attempts, their final runs here in Suzuka for the qualifying format. And speed trap means nothing. That I said, my engineer told me I'm 16th in the speed trap, says Gordo, but Gordo is in P8 at the moment, so it doesn't matter how fast you are, as Serious Fashion was saying, in the speed trap. It matters how fast you are around the whole lap. And of course, there was a lot of corners involved in Formula 1, so if you are slow in the speed trap, doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be slowest overall as well. Jinner is the only man out on track now, and he is on a flying lap as well, so I think we're going to have a bit of entertainment here from the Haas driver as he goes round in towards the Degner 1 of Sector 1, that is, finishing off Sector 1. Can he get himself off the curb this time? He has got himself negotiated round the curb this time in Sector 2, so thankfully that has hopefully gained him a bit of time as well. Through the hairpin we go now for the Haas, and let's see if he can get himself onto the power nicely. He has done very well indeed, and now around towards the spoon curve for, I think, the final attempt here for Jinner, because he's not going to have much time, I think, to go back round again unless he's got enough fuel on board in that Haas to go for a second run. But round the spoon curve very nicely indeed, and now heading up to 130R. This is the fastest point of the circuit, and you really don't want to fling the car into 130R to maximise the speed through the corner, and then heavy braking into the Casio triangle in the final corners of the lap as well. Here we go then, heavy on the brakes there for Jinner there, making sure he doesn't fly off into the distance there, but he has slowed the car down perfectly as well. And now up to the line for the Haas. What's it going to be? It's a 27.8. It's P6 as it stands for the Haas. Good stuff indeed, and good qualifying from the Haas drivers so far as well. But I think unless Jinner's, like I said, got enough fuel on board, as the fuel light, I think it might be coming on very soon, unless he's got enough fuel on board, I don't think he's got enough time to get himself back in the pit lane and back out again, unfortunately. VTOD is on a lap as well. He is flying round into 130R now. Let's see what VTOD can do. He's in P12 as it stands through the Casio triangle. This is his final attempt here in qualifying as well, I think, as he goes up to the line there. Can he get himself in the 27s? It's a 28.1. It's P7 from VTOD, a massive improvement. KD has joined, and I think he was the one who was missing, isn't it? But I'm not sure if he's joined on time. We've only got 1.5 minutes to go, and I don't think he's got enough time to get himself into quali, that is, or onto a lap time, I should say, as Dylan is the next to cross the line to start off his flying lap there. Car number 96 there in the Alfa Romeo, P5 as it stands. Let's see what he can do, as KD, I think, has joined, so he will be able to take part in the race, but unfortunately he will be down the order at this stage of the, well, at the beginning of the race, that is. He will be down the order there after not setting a time. Same for Reflection. I think Reflection's done and dusted, and Kamara Racer, of course, didn't get a time in because he crashed in qualifying. Here comes Dylan through Degner 1. Oh, controlling the car very nicely indeed. And now through Degner 2, going purple in Sector 1. The Red Bull thankfully gets out of the way. And now into the hairpin there for Dylan there, of course, looking to try and get his championship back on track. He was in contention. He was leading the championship there in the first few races of this season as well, but it's a long season here for Silver. It's a long season for all of us, to be fair, especially the admins. But Dylan there, he was leading the championship there. Unfortunately, B-Rabbit there really had a surge throughout the last few rounds, as did Tango as well. But Dylan there is not, he's not going to give up without a fight there. He's got a bit of a slipstream, a bit of tow potentially there from the Alpine ahead of him, and that could be quite good indeed, as well as Dylan now through 130R there, trying to keep it within track limits. He has done very nicely as well. Now into the heavy braking zone of the Casio Triangle for his final run here. The checker flag will be falling in 17, 16, 15 seconds. But here comes Dylan there to finish off the lap, and it's P2. It's just 1/10 away there from B-Rabbit's time, but it's still good enough for the front row of the grid there currently for Dylan there. Good stuff indeed, and that's where he'll want to be, because he wants to be challenging there with the top drivers there in the grid to try and get himself back into the championship fight, like I was saying. But he's got himself into P2 currently. Into the pits comes McConey there. He's not going to be able to improve on P3 as it stands. Ginner has also finished there in P6, but there is still plenty of action unfolding as what's happened to V-Todd. V-Todd's off the circuit. He's had a crash, I think, in Sector 1 in the first sector through the S's there. And I think that's V-Todd's qualifying done and dusted. He's out of the session. He's out of the Grand Prix. Out of the qualifying, I should say, for the Grand Prix. Here comes Tango there up to the line. What can Tango do? He's up into P5 there with a 27.689 there. He's currently ahead of the two Haas drivers as well. That is looking promising. And even Tango, of course, one of the other drivers there challenging for the title. But B-Rabbit has done a 27.0. He's gone 3/10 faster on his second attempt and into P1. He's got that P1 wrapped up now, I think, and unfortunately nobody can do anything about him in this Grand Prix, in this qualifying, I should say. The pace has been ecstatic, and Dylan there in P2 there, of course, on another in lap, unfortunately for Dylan. But B-Rabbit there takes the pole position, I would imagine, unless we've got any surprises there from Sweet MP, from Pot Stuff, and from anybody else, as Irvine is retired there in the pit lane. He's called it a day there in qualifying in P12, unfortunately for Irvine, as he comes down towards the Casio Triangle. The Sweet 100P, sorry, comes down towards the Casio Triangle. This is it for Sweet 100P. He's abandoned his lap time, and that is qualifying done and dusted. And B-Rabbit is your pole sitter here for the Japanese Grand Prix, round 16 of the Silver Season 6. And what a season it's been so far, and what a qualifying it has been here in Suzuka on the return, of course, after the 2-week break as well, for the Silver drivers there. Very dirty car as well, that Mercedes. I don't mean it as a euphemism. I mean it's very dusty indeed there, after the 2 laps that he's done on the track so far in this qualifying. But yeah, very impressive stuff indeed there from B-Rabbit. The pole sitter, the championship leader, has got it on pole position once again here in Suzuka. Right then, this is the classification there for the starting grid of the Japanese Grand Prix. B-Rabbit and Dylan there on the front row there, both championship contenders. McConey there on his first reserve appearance there in P3, looking good indeed. Sweet P there with a good qualifying there in P4. Tango in P5. Pot Stuff in P6 there. The other Haas compatriot there of Ginner in P7. So the Haas are looking good in qualifying. Vessier in P8 there. V-Todd in P9. Unfortunately had a bit of a smash there on the final run there, didn't he? Look like Dopey Lemons in P10. Red Bull of Gordo in P11, Irvine in P12, Mr. Elite in P13, Beast in P14, Kaz P15, Crustia T P17. Unfortunately, Favre KD, Kamara Racer had a big smash at the beginning of quali, and Reflection did not get a time on the board there in this qualifying session, so they will be starting at the back of the grid.
BoxBox Hub is an absolute essential for any Formula One fan, and the entire app with new widgets, statistics, localized race schedules, and countdowns, you name it. They even have support for Apple's new live activities feature with real-time updates during a race right on the lock screen, and honestly, some of the best looking widgets I've seen.
If you haven't checked out BoxBox yet, there's a bit of a plug here. Check out BoxBox. They're in the description. There's a very nice link as well. You can click on there. Of course, BoxBox is the new sponsor. We're powered by BoxBox is ALR, and we're very proud indeed to be sponsored by this fantastic app. Of course, it's an app for any F1 fan, really. You've got custom widgets there. You can have all the standings there. You can have custom graphics on your phone, like the home screen, that lock screen, all that sort of stuff. I myself have got the Lewis Hamilton one on my screen, but don't tell anybody who's not a Lewis Hamilton fan, that is. But there we go. So I've got the Lewis Hamilton one, but you can use it for all sorts of widgets, that sort of thing, that look really good, actually. Really good graphics and stuff indeed. Thankfully, it wasn't me designing them. But feel free to check out BoxBox in the description. It is a fantastic app as well, and of course ALR drivers can have a nice little discount as well on the plans as well. So it's all worth checking out indeed. And of course, there's more rewards to come even as well for season 10 next season. There's going to be even more to show you, more to be thrilled about. So there we go. Then we'll get ourselves underway. It looks like. And we can get ourselves underway here for the formation lap here in silver, and ready to get going here for the race itself. But like I said, a bit more about BoxBox just before that. Like I said, you've got custom widgets, you've got F1 news, you've got live updates from the races as well, all sorts of information. Everything you need for an F1 race is in that app, so it's really worth checking out there, getting yourself a nice little discount as well for ALR members. So feel free to have a look in the description there, and in the pinned message on the channel, on the stream chat as well. But there we go then. Thank you very much to BoxBox, who are powering ALR for the remainder of Season 9 and into Season 10 as well. We are looking forward to being partners with them as well. But here we go then. We are ready to get going for the Grand Prix here in Japan. And there is B-Rabbit there on pole position. The top 9 all on the medium compound tyre. Dopey Lemons in P10 on the hards. There's not many runners on the hard compound tyres there. Dopey Lemons in P10. Then we've got Crustia T and Farf there in P16 and 17. And Kamara Racer, who had a big smash, like I said, in qualifying at the very beginning as well. He's on the hard, they're all on hard compound tyres. Softs for KD in P18, and for Gordo in P11, and Irvine in P12. So looking for a fast start indeed of those three drivers. Everybody else there, Mr. Elite P13, both the Ferraris P14 and 15 there on the mediums, as well as is Reflection in P20. So that is the starting tyre, I would say, for the whole grid. We have got all 20 drivers in now. Thankfully, KD joined in time, but unfortunately, he could not take part in qualifying, so he has not got himself a time on the board. But we are ready to get going here in Suzuka, and like I said, we'll switch over to the position changes so that we can see the changes in position of the starting grid. And there we go then. B-Rabbit there coming down the hill. They're just getting his tyres into the right temperature window so we can get ourselves lined up on the grid for the start of this race. Right then, we are loaded in, we are locked in, and we are just about to get into our grid spots as well as we get ourselves ready for round 16 of Silver Season 6 there. There are the drivers there. They're all lined up in the grid boxes there at the front of the grid, just waiting for the rest of the back of the pack there to jump into their grid spots as well. Unfortunately, a few people there getting a bit unfamiliar with joining up into the grid boxes, as they, of course, have a bit of race rustiness as well, I suppose. Nobody's been practicing getting into their grid boxes, have they? Especially Sean Meek. But there we go then. Right then, here we go for Japan, and 5 red lights are on here in Suzuka, and the 5 red lights are off, but we're not underway just yet. Here we go then in Japan. Now it's a safety car off the start. I'm not quite sure what has happened there, and okay. And thankfully, the safety car has beaten everyone out. We've got a safety car that's ruined the start of this Grand Prix. Kaz and Ultimate Beast are overtaking each other, but nobody else, of course. Of course, you can't overtake under the safety car anyway. But nobody else, of course, has overtaken there because they haven't been able to there. The safety car was brought out immediately, and we're going to have to cruise around for a couple of laps there before we can get the race underway. Bit of an odd one that, but unfortunately we've got to just deal with the hand. We've got to deal with the hand we've been dealt there by Codemasters. So that was a bit of an anticlimactic start, wasn't it? So in the meantime, just tell us what you had for dinner in the comments section, because we're going to have 2 laps of safety car before we get the race actually started, I think. Yeah, I had, what did I have? I had a what did I have? Some chicken, I think I had chicken and rice. I can't remember what flavour it was though. But there you go. That was my dinner. And Ginger Ale said, "Oh, I'm not sure what he's worrying about." But there you go. Probably my dinner choices there. But never mind. Right then, unfortunately, like I said, the safety car has sort of put a damp squib on my predictions there for a chaotic Grand Prix as well. I thought turn one, the barreling down into turn one, would have been pretty epic indeed here in Silver, especially in the dry conditions. Of course, in Gold last night in the wet conditions, it was a much more considered and calm start to the Grand Prix, even though we didn't have a safety car to help us around. But unfortunately, in this one, the safety car came out right as the red lights finished their sequence there, didn't it? And unfortunately, that means that the safety car is going to take us around the Suzuka circuit for lap 1 and I think lap 2 as well. So unless it pops in at the end of this lap, which would be nice. But yeah, like I was saying, it means that the race start has been a bit nullified indeed, hasn't it? It's like a proper safety car restart in Formula 1. Although we haven't had any Grand Prix racing before this lap. We've got to just get ourselves around the circuit there. Very nice shot indeed, a nice aerial shot there of the circuit. But we don't really want to care about that. We want to care about the racing that's going to be going on. And unfortunately, like I was saying, we're going to have to wait another lap there to the end of lap 2, end of this lap there, before the racing gets underway. Somebody is in the pits there, so there is pit activity coming underway here as well. KD is in the pit lane. So is Reflection, so is Favre, and so is Kaz. So there is some pit stop activity there under this safety car to try and alleviate some of the tyre pressures, not the tyre pressures literally, but the pressures of trying to use or having to use at least 2 different compounds of tyre throughout the Grand Prix there. Onto the medium, goes Favre, Kaz onto the hards, as is KD there, and Reflection. So Reflection was on mediums, KD was on softs, and Kaz I think was on softs as well. He was on mediums as well, I think, and Favre I think was on the hards, I believe, I can't remember. But nonetheless, the 4 drivers there who have made a pit stop, as Kaz has gone off the circuit there, the 4 drivers who made a pit stop there will have to try and catch themselves back up to the safety car queue, which of course is being led by B Rabbit. And B Rabbit, of course, the pole sitter here in Suzuka. Serious one who had hot dogs, and so did Gordo. That's amazing. Oh, I wish I had hot dogs. That shows you how excited I am for hot dogs. But there we go then. So that is the entertainment there at the moment. We're waiting for the safety car to get itself rolled back into the pit lane, so we can actually get some racing underway here. Yeah, like I said, if you just joined us, the safety car came out as the red lights finished for the start sequence there, unfortunately. So we haven't had a safety car from the immediate start of the Grand Prix. So hopefully it will be in at the end of this lap, I should say. This gives us a lovely little opportunity to shout out BoxBox once again there. BoxBox is the sponsor for ALR. We are powered by BoxBox for the remainder of Season 9 and for Season 10 as well next season. Safety car is in this lap, so feel free to check out the link in the description there of BoxBox there. Sign up, save some money as well on the discount code for ALR drivers there, and we will see you in the we'll get some custom widgets, get some custom news, and get some F1 updates there for everything BoxBox and everything ALR as well. Right then, the race is going to be underway very soon. It depends on when B Rabbit is going to drop the hammer there. He needs to get himself sorted and get on with it at some point, because he's going to have a whole pack of drivers there ready to get going very soon. And he has dropped the hammer very, very quickly indeed. Yellow flags, no, sorry, fastest laps pouring in there as the drivers cross the checkered flag line. Here comes action into turn 1 there. Gordo there trying to get himself past Irvine. Can he get himself down the inside? Oh, there's contact between the two there. And it's not Irvine, actually. It's Irvine and Mr. Elite there. Mr. Elite trying to get himself through there on the McLaren on the soft compact tyres. You would have thought the softs would have been warming up quite quickly indeed, but it's not the case there for Mr. Irvine. It's the case of Mr. Elite there on the mediums. Favre's got himself past Crusher T. And Crusher T there on the hard compound tyres in the Williams there, trying to hold back Kamara Racer now as well. He's got KD, he's got Reflection, he's got Kaz all fighting there. Here comes Pot Stuff though, past Tango as well, into Degna 1 and Degna 2. They're going to go side by side through here, in towards the hairpin as well. Oh, there's a bit of contact I think there, but round the outside tries the Haas, but he can't quite get the move done there. V-Todd and Dopey Lemon switching places as well there. V-Todd of course on the medium compound tyres. Oh, it's close indeed to the front wing there of the Alfa Romeo, but he's got himself through and up into P9, back up into P9 there, I should say, as we go into Spoon Curve. The first racing lap in anger, this one. Of course, we're on lap 3, but this is the first racing lap in anger here tonight because of the safety car there that was out in lap 1 and 2. Because of no reason, to be honest. That is the reason. That is the reason. There was no reason. But now in towards 130. Anyone going to go side by side through here? It could be close indeed. Kamara Racer and Crusty T are looking like it. And Katie has got himself past the Williams as well. All into the Casio Triangle. There's a Ferrari of Ultimate Beast off the circuit there as well. And trying to get himself back on there as Beast got wing damage. He has got wing damage, I think, there. There is a right end plate missing there on the Ferrari driver. Both the Ferraris down the back of the field, unfortunately, now. That is not looking good there. BoxBox says Serious Mushroom, yes, indeed. As Mr. Elite and Farf battling away there through turn 1 and 2. They're in towards the S's as well. Mr. Elite has lost out there to the Alpine and down into P14, unfortunately, for the Red Bull driver there. But looking to try and stick to the back of the pack as close as he can. Their Pot Stuff has lost out there to the top 4. This could be causing a train very shortly indeed. Of course, DRS not available just yet. But it will be available there at the end of lap 4, the beginning of lap 5, that is. Only one DRS zone, and that is down the main straight. So it is not all doom and gloom if you are just outside of the DRS range, as Irvine has been passed, has he, by Farf? No, Farf has lost out once again to Irvine, who had the inside of the hairpin, and now under pressure there from Mr. Elite, trying to get his 13th place back. Is the Red Bull driver there pushing the Alpine through in towards Spoon Curve. Can I go down the inside there? It's going to be close indeed. That's not where you want to put your nose if it's going to be that risky, and especially with Farf. So you don't want to put your nose in any awkward positions as Mr. Elite getting a bit squirrely there on the exit of a Spoon there, trying to get the power down a bit too early there, and that almost cost him his place in the race, that is. But he's managed to keep himself going. Reflection got himself past Crusty T there into P17, and he's 2 seconds now behind KD. But of course, KD and KD Camaro and Reflection have all pitted as DRS now is enabled after the 2 laps behind the safety car. Now lap 5. DRS now available. Of course, the detection point is before the start-finish straight, but that would mean that the activation point will have to be at the end of lap 5 rather than at the beginning of lap 5. Mr. Elite's been passed by Kamara Racer now as well. Kamara Racer getting himself up into P14. Oh, it's almost flighty there for the Red Bull driver, trying to keep his car pointed in the right direction there through the S's. It's not looking good for Mr. Elite. He's really pushing too hard, I think, on those tyres. And we saw in real life there, pushing on the medium compound tyres too much there can cause the car to just lose all grip really so quickly as well. And you need to sort of ease the tyre in, don't you, especially on the medium compound tyre. But I think Mr. Elite there maybe burnt the tyres a bit too much there over the curve at Techno 2, as is KD as well. But that might have cost them a bit of time. Farf all over the back of Irvine still, and the soft compound tyres haven't progressed the two of Gordo or Mr. Irvine so far up the grid that they thought they probably would have thought or probably would have wanted at the start of the Grand Prix there on the softs as well. But I think the rolling start sort of played factor to that as well, because they didn't have to. They didn't have the grip. They didn't have the expert grip that they could have had on the soft compound tyres off of a standing start, I should say. But there we go. Gordo's still putting the pressure on now. He's going to have DRS there to try and get to past Dopey Lemons, who's lost out of DRS range there to Vessia, I think, just about there into the Casio Triangle. We'll go for the 5th time. Although it feels like only the 3rd, because we've only had 3 racing laps. As now down towards the main straight we go. Here comes Gordo there. Tango's got past Pot Stuff. Here comes the Red Bull of Gordo there, down the inside there on turn 1 on Dopey Lemons there, up into P9, and getting himself past and up into the higher echelons of the points there. Kaz has got himself past Crusty T. Beast has had to pit. I think he has anyway, for a fresh set of medium compound tyres. If there's a safety car, that will bring Beast back into the fold, but he has to just soldier on at this stage of the Grand Prix. But he's looking good indeed on the medium compound tyres there. He can just get himself, he got himself some nice clean air there and can just power through the laps. So you can see in the background the car's flying through. This is B Rabbit there, the race leader there in P1. Dylan there up into P2 is chasing him down though. The championship contenders there are going to be biting and battling for the race lead here as well. Here in Suzuka, this is going to be an epic one indeed, as I would pit for medium, said Serious Rushman there. I think he was talking about under the safety car there, but I think a few people have made their choices there to pit under the safety car and go on to a different tyre there. B-Rabbit, they're getting a bit squirrely there out of the Spoon Curve. Could open the door for Dylan there to make a move down the main straight. He's got some slipstreams and got some ERS in the tank. and now in towards the Casio triangle for the 6th time there for the Alfa Romeo, right behind the rear wing of that Mercedes. Let's see if there's going to be a move for the race lead here on lap 7 of 27 as well. Now DRS available for Dylan as we go down the main straight once again. SWMWP is going to be battling with McConey there. Into P3 goes the Williams driver. This is looking good so far for SWMWP. I don't want to commentate or curse him, of course, because I have probably done that in the past with SWMWP. Their general has been passed by, always been passed by Vesio, and almost into the back of Vesio as well at turn 1. It is a bit of an odd turn 1 because you can have quite a few different racing lines through turn 1 and 2. General almost into the back of the McLaren there, who had just made the move there with DRS as well. But there we go. SWMWP up into P3. He is 1 second off these top 2 who are going through Degner 1 and 2 now. Flying with precision there is Dylan there, looking great indeed there on the money with the just spot on through the corners as well for the Alfa Romeo driver. But at the moment he is sitting in P2. SWMWP in P3. McConey there in P4. Yellow flags. Yellow flags it's Crusty T's off the circuit. There's a yellow flag in sector 1. He's got himself back underway, but there's no front wing on that Williams car, and that is going to be costly indeed. He needs to get the car slowed down and back to the pit lane as quickly as possible, as safely as possible as well. But unfortunately, for Crusty T, that is a wingless Williams. Unfortunately for him, I'm not quite sure what happened there, but through sector 1, it can be treacherous indeed, and there could be a wall to claim you if you make any mistakes. And unfortunately, that is the one of the victims. We've seen some victims already in qualifying, to be fair, through sector 1 as well. But there we go then. Dylan a bit further back this time there on B-Rabbit, so he's going to have to just use the DRS there to bring himself back into play. But I don't think he's going to be close enough to make a move as yellow flags again. What's happened? It's Kamara Racer off the circuit, and there's another driver. It's V Todd off the circuit at the Casio triangle. What's happened between these two here? There's been a collision. I think Kamara Racer's not got any wing damage. It doesn't look like. V Todd is where's he off to? It looks like he's got no damage either, which is good news. Camaro is in the pit lane though, so I'm not quite sure if he has got some damage that we couldn't see. Crosstier T is back in the pit lane after going around on that with that damaged front wing. Onto the medium compound tyres goes Camaro, but he's not got any wing changes or anything like that. KD and Mr. Elite battling away, and into P13 goes goes Mr. Elite. Unfortunately, you didn't see what happened exactly with that battle there. We didn't see exactly what happened with Kamara and for V Todd as well, but V Todd carried on. Crusty T has got himself on the soft compound tyres and has got himself a new front wing as well. But like I was saying, we didn't see what happened with V Todd and Kamara Racer, but Kamara Racer did make a pit stop just now, but he has pitted for a medium compound tyre, which may get to the end. I'm not quite sure. It's going to have to do 20 laps or so. V Todd and KD battling away. KD's off the circuit. KD's got a problem there, I think. He's just slowing down. He's let cars through as well. I'm not quite sure if there's a technical difficulty there, a technical issue there for KD. His right end plate is missing there on that AlphaTauri there. I'm not sure if he was involved, as Gordo and Dopey Lemons are battling through 130R, and that could be close indeed. It was tight indeed, but Dopey Lemons there has to concede there to Gordo, who kept his foot on the throttle through there without any regard for his safety, to be honest, as into the pits comes Tango from P5, P6 I think it was. So interesting stuff there from Tango. Here comes Dopey Lemons once again. They're down the straight towards turn 1. He's going to be close indeed. He's going to be side by side. Is it there? Gordo goes off the circuit there. He's going to have to concede there too. Dopey Lemons there. Farf now interested in getting himself past the Alpine. Oh dear, that's close indeed. There's contact again indeed as well. Gordo down to P10. Unfortunately there, the soft compound tyres I think might have been dropped off by now. Kamara Racer's been passed I think by Dopey Lemons. Not Dopey Lemons, up the beast. And into the pits comes KD. Kamara Racer is struggling I think out there, but he needs to keep his head on his shoulders there, as Dopey Lemons has been passed by Farf there into Degner 1 as well. Not a traditional way of taking place here for Suzuka, but nonetheless he has got himself past. He's back in the pits goes Kamara Racer, and I'm not quite sure what's happened to Kamara Racer this time, that he's back in the pit lane again. No wing change there for the Aston Martin driver, so he's coming back. He's gone back onto another set of medium compound tyres, so interesting stuff indeed. We'll have to wait and see. Hopefully, like I said, another safety car will be brought out, and that will be good news for the likes of Kamara Racer, Crustia T, KD, and Ultimate Beast as well. But they're going to have to hope and pray now for a safety car to bring them back into this Grand Prix. Vitor has got himself past Kaz there, and now into P13. Vitor had that incident. I'm not quite sure. It was with Kamara Racer, I believe. It might have been involving KD as well, because it looked like KD had damage on the next lap after that incident had occurred. So we'll have to review that. I'm sure it will be reported if there's anything to look at in the incident reports. So the stewards, of course, can get to work on that. Here comes Jenner there on Vessia down into turn 1. It's going to be tight indeed through here, and Vessia holds on there to P6 for the time being, but they're all going a bit wide. There was Jenner there in the Haas, but Jenner there is trying to push that McLaren through the Senna S's, not the Senna S's, they're the Suzuka S's, aren't they? The Senna S's are in Brazil, but of course we just had the Brazilian Grand Prix, which is why it's on my mind. And Jenner there trying to control the car. He managed to keep hold of it somehow, but Farfus snuck his way through there. Now Dopey Lemon's all over the back of the Haas, and pushing so hard there is Jenner that he almost lost control of the car there through the Dunlop curve, but thankfully kept it under control. Kaz has got himself past Vitor. Yellow flags. Is it for Vitor? Vitor's off the circuit, is he? He's had a problem there at Degna 1. He's back on. I think he's back on. Again, he's not got any damage. He must have just got off at the Dunlop curve as well. But as the yellow flag's still fluttering in Sector 1, but he's they've gone away now. But yeah, I'm not quite sure what happened there to Vitor. It seems like Vitor is in the mix for the all the incidents, as Kamara is back in the pit lane again. What is Kamara up to here? He is now going for a wing change, so I'm not quite sure what is going on there for Kamara. He has now got a wing change, but this is going to put him a lap down now, because Dylan has got himself past B-Rabbit, which I completely missed. But B-Rabbit now is going to fly past, and I think the top 4 are going to lap Kamara Racer here, and that is bad news indeed for Kamara there as he comes out of the pit lane now. He's going to be involved in this battle here, because there's quite a few drivers there flying through on flying laps. Well, not flying laps, they're all flying laps there, but of course there's a few drivers there that have now lapped the Aston Martin driver of Kamara. I'm not quite sure why he took 2 attempts there, or 3 attempts to actually pit for a front wing change there, but interesting stuff indeed. Tango's got himself passed into P12. He's onto the medium compound tyres as Tango. I'm not sure, I think he started on medium compound tyres as well, so he's gone medium here, has the Aston Martin driver. That would indicate that he's going to go for a 2-stop strategy here. Yellow flags for an AlphaTauri. It's KD, I think it's KD, has had a problem there at the exit of the final turn there. He's got himself back underway, but he's really having troubles there in that AlphaTauri there. I'm not quite sure what happened there, but again through the exit of the Casio triangle, he has lost control of the car there. The Williams there in the background is Crustia T, but again the front wing looked intact for me as well, which is good news at least for KD. He doesn't have to pit for a front wing change, but interesting stuff is going on, and yeah, that is that there. Kamara Racer trying to get himself past Dopey Lemons now, and Kamara Racer is unfortunately, like I said, the lapped car in this battle. He's down at the back of the grid. He's the only driver, sorry, he's not the only driver. Mr. Elite's got a penalty as well. Dylan there has taken the lead of the Grand Prix there on to lap 12. We go there. B-Rabbit there sitting in behind. Repeat is pitting from the medium compound tyres. So he's caught the day there on the medium compound. Cheers, nothing said. Fast taking, no prisoners. Okay. Good stuff indeed there. Jenner is in the battle here with Dopey Lemons as well. Dopey Lemons is through. Yellow flags. I'm not quite sure what's happening. It's McConey. McConey's had a problem there in turn 1. At the exit of turn 1 and 2, I think he's got himself back underway. Yellow flags are fluttering for sector 1, but there's no, well, not currently any safety car or VSC just yet. McConey back out onto the track there, but unfortunately that spin, I don't think he was near anyone because he was battling with Sweet MWP, but of course Sweet MWP had just pit for the hard compound tyre, and he's down into P13 now. V Todd is right behind him in P14, but yeah, I'm not quite sure what happened there. McConey there has lost the car, unfortunately. He's got himself back underway, thankfully, but and again, doesn't look like there's any damage there to the car. Far from Vessia battling away there side by side through the hairpin, and now onto the next part of the circuit towards the spoon curve. Of course, Kamara Race trying to unlap himself at this stage as well, has got himself through there. Favre going to stick his nose in. No, it's not where you want to stick your nose in, like I was saying with Mr. Elite on the very first lap, or the third lap really, because of the safety car. But Kamara Racer has now unlapped himself. He's only got the top 3 to unlap himself from as well. Crossley is retired, and that is a safety car indeed, and that could be great timing indeed for Dylan and for B-Rabbit and for Potstuff as well. It might not be so good news for Speed there, but into the pit lane comes the race leaders as they get themselves into the pit lane. Kamara Racer needs to stay out here. He needs to stay out here. He needs to stay out here. Thankfully, he has heard me, and he can carry on. And now he's back on the lead lap as well, which is great news indeed. Oh, goodness me. Gordo has said he didn't need the safety car there. Where is Gordo there? He is, of course, yeah, like I said, down in P16 now after making his pit stop there before the safety car. Who is that? Oh, it's Tango there. Kaz has got a 5-second run over speeding in the pit lane. Oh no, that's bad news for Kaz. Tango, of course, with his pit stop, has gotten himself up into P2 now with that safety car coming out at the not a bad time, but not a great time for him either, to be honest. But he's on the medium compound tyres, albeit on 4-lap old medium compound tyres, compared to fresh hard compound tyres for Dylan. For B Rabbit, they're in P3, Potstuff in P4. Sweet MP hasn't lost out too much. He's in P5, so it could be worse for the Williams driver, but he's still in a good position there, good points haul there potentially for the Williams driver if he can hold on to that place there till the end of the Grand Prix. We're about halfway through at this stage because of course we've 27. It's going to be about 13 and a half laps is the cut-off point there for the halfway point. Everyone on hard says Gordo that there is a few people on the medium compound tyres there. We've got Beasters in the pit lane, as is KD. They're onto the medium compound tyres for KD. Irvine, Kaz, Dopey Lemons, Farf, Reflection, Gordo are all on the medium compound tyres for everybody else. Everybody else is on the hard compound tyres, I believe, unless anybody wants to go onto the soft compound tyres from here, but I don't think they will make it to the end of the Grand Prix. I would hazard a guess. Camaro is back in the pit lane there, so he needs to hope that he doesn't have to get a wing change and he doesn't drop down behind the rest of the order. I would have just carried on for another lap if I was Camaro racer, because then I would have got closer to the back of the queue and I would have had even fresher tyres to go on to, because of course the more laps you do there under the safety car and then pitting later on in the safety car stint, that is, then of course the fresher tyres you can use for the rest of the Grand Prix. But he doesn't want to worry about that. He just wants to get himself onto a new set of boots there, and he's back out underway. There is Camaro racer, but he's almost a lap behind still with that pit stop as well, so he's got quite a lot of catching up to do. Hopefully he can catch up to the back of the pack before the safety car peels away back to the pit lane. But we are going down the main straight now for the most of the grid. Like I said, we've lost Krusty T there in the S's section there, lost the car, and that has caused this second safety car. The first safety car was caused by nothing really. It was just when the racing lights, when the 5 red lights went out, we had a safety car immediately, so it was not caused by any driver, put it that way. Unfortunately, the second safety car, this one here, has been caused by Krusty T's big smash there in the S's of Sector 1, which has cost him his place in the Grand Prix as well, as there's a few more pit activities down the back of the order, as Todd is in the pit in P18 there. Camaro's got quite a lot of catching up to do here, and he needs to hurry up because, like I said, the safety car will just come in regardless of whether he's caught up or not. At one point, it will just get fed up of waiting for him, unfortunately, so he needs to make sure he needs to get his foot down and catch up. There's no delta for Camaro, of course. There is a delta, well, there's not really a delta actually for anybody at the moment because they're all stuck up behind the safety car at the moment, so they can't go any faster than the safety car's going anyway. But they just need to make sure that they get themselves caught up to the queue, as Camaro is coming down the main straight now. He's probably could probably catch up on this lap, to be fair, but I think the safety car will be out for another lap after this one, so it'll be an end of lap 15 that we get ourselves back underway, I would imagine, unless it wants to call it early and come back in at the end of this lap. But like I was saying, it's almost time to get back racing, I think. But we're going to have 13 laps as well. If it's the end of lap 15, we're going to have 13 laps of green flag running, hopefully to the end of the Grand Prix. And there's still plenty of action to unfold here in Suzuka, so stay tuned. Saying if you're on the hard compound tyres, you pit again for mediums. I think it's going to be quite close between the mediums and the hards as it stands for the rest of this Grand Prix. It'll be close to trying to get the mediums to the end of the Grand Prix, and I think the hards will phase in very nicely and can definitely get to the end of this race from this stage anyway. And one more lap behind the safety car as Camaro there is coming down the back straight towards 130R, though he's not too far behind now. which is good news indeed. But like I was saying, we're going to get back racing at the end of lap 15, so we're going to have 13 laps of green flag running. I think we are anyway. 16, 17, 12 laps. Sorry, I can't do maths. But there we go then. Kamara Racer has stayed out as well, so he's going to be right on the back of the queue as he goes through turns 1 and 2 as well now, and he will be in the train there, the safety car queue, the safety car train there, the crocodile as we like to call it in F1, and ready to get going once again there at the end of lap 15. So there we go then. Dylan, of course, will take the restart because he is the he of course came out just ahead of Tango, which was great stuff indeed there for the race leader, because he's got himself a car in between Dylan there and B Rabbit, his championship challenger, and of course the race challenger as well in this one for the first stint as well. These two were battling away. Dylan and B Rabbit, they were battling away for the race lead in the first 12 laps or so. And that safety car there with Tango's early pit stop has split the two drivers there with, as he goes into neutral there, going through the hairpin there. A bit of extra rotation there for the Alfa Romeo. I'm not quite sure that would have helped too much there. But yeah, so Dylan there has got himself a nice little buffer there between himself and B Rabbit there. Tango, of course, is no slouch, and of course on 6-lap-old mediums he's going to have some quite good pace there on the medium compound tyres, potentially to get himself into the lead of the Grand Prix as well. But I would expect the mediums to start falling off in the next 5 or 6 laps or so potentially, and that might be when the hard compound runners there might phase back in a bit more and start swamping all over the back there of that Aston Martin. Could be treacherous indeed, but hopefully they can keep it under control. Right then, safety car is in this lap there, so Dylan of course is now the de facto lead car as we wait for Bernd Mailander to park himself back up in the pit lane, and hopefully that's enough for Bernd there tonight. There, we've done enough of the safety car racing. We want to see some actual racing now, don't we? And there we go, we can see the safety car just peeling away through the Casio triangle there into the pit lane there as well. Good stuff indeed. Right then, Dylan can now set the pace, can get himself ready to get going as well in this Grand Prix. Again, we've got a very nice camera angle as we go down the hill, but Dylan has already dropped the hammer there and he's off and underway there, and here comes Tango. He's close indeed. A great restart indeed from the Aston Martin of Tango there, down the main straight towards turn 1. Can he make a move there around the outside? Oh, there's contact between the two of them there. Tango going to go. Oh, there's contact again, and Tango, I think, has lost the front wing, has he? No, he hasn't. He's got his front wing intact, it looks like. Somehow it looked like he went right into the back there of the Alfa Romeo there, but he's managed to get himself back on the way. Dylan, I think, thankfully got away with no damage as well, because he could have lost a lot of rear diffuser damage. Maybe there was a bit of lag between those two, and it wasn't me, it was just me rather than them on track. But Tango there has, I think he's lost a bit of performance there, unfortunately, because he's now 7/10 off the Alfa Romeo there, but he's now trying to reel that car back in. Favre has got himself past Mr. Elite there into P10 there, through into Degner 1 and now into Degner 2 as well for the Alpine. They're up into the top 10 now as well. Mr. Elite is trying to cling on to the back there on the hard compound tyres. Like I was saying, the hard compound tyres I think will phase in the next 6 or 7 laps or so, just in time there for a few racing laps as well. But Beast and KD battling away as well in towards the spoon curve. It was close indeed. There's going to be tight indeed between the Alfa Romeo and the Alfa Tauri, sorry, and the Ferrari into spoon curve we go. KD cannot put any overtakes there on the Ferrari, unfortunately, into that attempt there. Far up there, right behind there. Tango, like I said, 7/10 off the back now. I think there might be some damage there for the Aston Martin. He's just trying to cling on with the pace of the medium compound tyres. Beast has been passed by KD into 130R and up into P16 there for the AlphaTauri. But yeah, like I said, I think Tango might have some problems there with the car. He's done a great job so far of soldering on, and he's not coming in the pit lane anytime soon, of course. But yeah, I think that might be an issue there for the Aston Martin there in this race, which is why he's not all over the back there of the Alfa Romeo. Jenner has got himself past V Vessia there into P7, and now can set his sights there on Gordo in P6. But Gordo's looking good indeed on the medium compound tyres as well. If he can just hold on to the back there of the cars ahead, he's doing a good job so far. And here comes Farf as well on Reflection. Reflection doing a good job to get himself into the top 9, into the top 10 I should say. It's not really points to the top 9, well there's points for the top 9 of course, but it goes down to the top 10, so I should call it the top 10 really. As trying to put his nose in at Degner 2 was Farf there. That is definitely not where you want to put your nose in at all, to be honest, because it's like to get chopped off. As into the hairpin we go. The Alpine there of Farf is all over the back now with that Mercedes, but there's quite a bit of a queue there forming behind, well, to be fair, behind Tango actually in P2. Everybody within DRS range apart from Tango, who's now 1.2 seconds behind Dylan in the lead of this Grand Prix. B-Rabbit there going to try and make a move, is he? Into the 130R corner to try and get himself into P2. Back up into P2, I should say. But can he make any moves before 130R? No, not quite. He has to sit behind. The gap has come down to 1.1 second. Here comes B-Rabbit there trying to line up a move there, but he has to stick behind for the time being now as we go into the Casio Triangle. It's all over the back of that Aston Martin. He's pushing the Aston Martin and Tango through the corners, as I think there is damage there for the Aston Martin, which is why he's horribly, he's not got any pace there through the corners there into turn one. This could get a bit treacherous indeed, especially with a bit of wing damage there for the Aston Martin, but he has to sit in behind as B-Rabbit, the championship leader, thinking about the championship as well, of course. B-Rabbit and Pot Stuff battling away through the into sector one, and now Gordo trying to pounce as well into turn two and turn 3 and 4. He's got himself up into P5 there. 300P has lost out there. Sorry, Pot Stuff has lost out to his teammate as well, has he? All in contact between the two Haas cars, and Jinner there has been sideswiped there by his teammate, and Hafalov has got himself through in between the two Haas's now, and I'm losing my voice. And Jinner, unfortunately, they're unsettled by his teammate there, and that has cost him a place there to Farf, and Farf now trying to get himself past Pot Stuff as well into the hairpin. God blimey, Lefavre says Serious Mushroom. I think we're seeing it. We're seeing some Lefavre right now. Mr. Elite, Dopey Levens has dropped down the order as well. Dopey Levens has had a problem there. I'm not quite sure where or who, but he has dropped down to P13. And McConey is back up into P12 there, trying to recover. Jinner's off the circuit. Jinner's had a problem there. Where is it? Where is Jinner? He's at the spoon curve. I'm not quite sure if he's trying to dive down the inside there of somebody else there, but we didn't quite see it. He's down to the back of the field, unfortunately, is the Haas driver. Big shame indeed. He was going well in this race up until that collision there with his teammate, actually. Yeah, we'll have to review that, of course, if that's going to be reported. I'm not quite sure. Gunter Steiner will be very disappointed if that is reported, I'm sure. But Reflection out up into P8 there, getting himself past Vessia and trying to take after the rest of the pack there. B-Rabbit has got himself past Tango now, up into P2, and now can try and set his sights. A 2-second gap there to the race leader of Mr. Elite. Of Dylan, sorry. Mr. Elite is trying to go around the outside of B. Vessier into turn 2 and 3, but he's not made the move, unfortunately. He has to stay behind for the time being there. McConey now joining up to this battle here as well, and getting himself into the fray. But there's quite a lot of drivers there joining up to the queue. Reflection needs to get a bit of a move on there to try and get himself back in the range there of Farf and Pot Stuff, who are battling side by side almost through the Degners, and Pot Stuff going a bit wide there. That could open the door for Farf there into the hairpin potentially to make a dive bomb there down the inside. No, he thinks twice about it. Reflection there is going for it as Gordo's got himself round the outside of Sweet MJP there into, there's almost contact between himself and Pot Stuff as well. It's close indeed. There's close indeed between these two. They're going to go side by side through the spoon curve. This could be treacherous indeed as well, and I think Sweet MJP has to back out. He didn't want to poke his nose too far in there as Katie's got himself a 3-second penalty. Here comes Farf now on Sweet MJP there up the hill towards 130R. It's going to be 2 by 2 it looks like, because Gordo and Pot Stuff are side by side. Farf and Sweet MJP are side by side. Sweet MJP is off the circuit. He's flown off the circuit there, and blimey, into the Casio Triangle we go, and there's contact between the Alpine and the Williams again. Katie's off the circuit at the back of the field there through 130R. He's down the back of the field. Tango is back in the pit lane. And unfortunately, I think that is to fix the front wing there on that Aston Martin. Let's have a look and see. There is no wing change. So I'm not quite sure. I think I'm not quite sure if he stayed out on medium compact tyres. Of course, Tango had her medium, didn't he? So he had to pit again for the soft compact tyres, all the hards. Kamara up into P14, getting himself past V Todd, and now up into P14 there, trying to chase down Ultimate Beast there, who is all over the back of Irvine as well. There's a lot of action unfolding here in Silver. Blimey, it's really been action-packed indeed. Ultimate Beast and Irvine battling away, and Irvine is up, he'll down into P13. Beast is up into P12 after getting past the McLaren there. Oh, blimey, it's action-packed indeed. The yellow flags again, and it's for KD at the top of the hill at Dunlop. He's lost the car again, unfortunately. KD's having a bit of a problem here, it looks like. Trying to get as he's just driven himself into the wall there. So that will be a safety car probably, and that is there's a virtual safety car, thankfully, because like I said, if that was a safety car, that is just impacting everybody's Grand Prix, to be honest, and that is not looked favourably upon by the admin team, put it that way. So there we go then. A virtual safety car, which has nullified the race, of course, and let's have a look and see what's going to happen here. Is anyone going to come in the pit lane? Dylan stays out. B-Rabbit is going to stay out as well. Gordo is going to stay out, I'd imagine, as well. KD has left the session now, unfortunately for KD. He's not had a good race tonight, and he's crashed at the top of the hill of Sector 1, and DRS, we were back underway. That was quick indeed, as we are back racing once again. Far there has got DRS. Of course, there is DRS still available straight away after the VSC. Oh, not after a safety car. It has to be 2 laps after a safety car, but it is straight away after a VSC. Kaz has been passed by Jinner now. Jinner up into P16. Trying to get himself back past us. Kamaro's off the circuit there. He's had a collision, I think, with V. Todd, has he? He's got himself back onto the circuit there, but he's going to have his teammate to play with in a minute, unfortunately for him, as, of course, Tango there on the soft compound tyres is going to be flying through in a few corners' time there, but Kamaro there having a bit of trouble, it looks like, in Sector 1 once again, as Sweet Pino has had a problem. Sweet has had a problem as well through Degna 1. And that is costly indeed. That is him down the back of the field as well. I'm not quite sure. We didn't see what happened there to Swim P, but he's lost out. He's going to lose out to both the Aston Martins as well here, because he's just not been able to get himself back underway. And yeah, unfortunately, that is it's just chaos really for those drivers, which is a big shame indeed. Gordo there is in P3 currently. He's looking good indeed, but he's going to have a wing mirror, or wing mirrors filled with a Haas. Not for long though, because Pot Stuff is flying through, and I think he's going to have to yield the position there. Is Gordo there into the 130R? Oh, it's almost tight. It could have been contact indeed as well. Into the Casio triangle we go as well, and Gordo there down into P4. Unfortunately for him, he's going to have DRS there, so maybe he fight back there. Maybe take that P3 position back from Pot Stuff as we start off lap 22 for these drivers. Of course, the rest of the field, as here comes Gordo down the inside to reclaim that position, and Pot Stuff is going to go down the inside though. It's going to be tight indeed from turn 2. It's going to be side by side into turn 3 as well. Into turn 3 we go. Pot Stuff has to yield, and he has got he's dropped himself back down behind the Red Bull now as well. But I think Gordo, there's going to be a bit of a bottleneck in this stage of the Grand Prix, with the rest of the drivers behind there trying to fight their way through, I should say, not fight themselves. Oh, hopefully they're not fighting themselves. Maybe they're having a mental battle there to try and get themselves in this, keep themselves in this race. But they're all doing a good job so far. Swim Repeat and Kamara have both pitted, so hopefully they can go for a fastest lap attempt there in this race. Farf is all over the back now of Pot Stuff, but Pot Stuff equally is all over the back of Gordo, and Reflection has joined this battle, as has Vessia, as has Mr. Elite and Mr. Dopey Lemons and Mr. McConey. So they're all in the top 10 in a fight there for that P3 position, really, apart from B-Rabbit and Dylan, who are out in front by 8 seconds, almost 9 seconds now in the lead. Fastest lap for Tango, says Serious Mushroom. Yes, that is good stuff indeed. And to be fair, he got some good pace. I know he's only got a few laps. He's got about 5.5 laps to do it. If he can get himself in the range of the top 10, he could actually get himself in that fight. Potentially side by side there for Dopey Lemons there, and Mr. Elite there through the Casio triangle. It's close indeed, and Mr. Elite has held the position for the time being. But here comes Dopey Lemons now with some DRS and some ERS assistance. I think he might be able to get himself through here in the Alfa Romeo there. Oh, where's he going? He's going to go this way, that way. Where are you going? There you go. That's it. You're going to go. You've got to go past the car before you can go in front of him. As Tango sets the fastest lap once again there on lap 23. Tango is not far off the back of this pack, actually, to be fair. Like I was saying, if he can get himself within range of the top 10, with a few penalties as well for the drivers ahead of him, he could be able to get himself into the points as well as keep that fastest lap point as well. So it's not all doom and gloom yet for Tango there. He's doing a good job there. Pot Stuff has got himself past Gordo once again, and up into P3 there, up into the podium places. Jinner picked up a penalty there. That is bad news for Jinner in as he's crashed out of the race as well. And that's a safety car here, and yeah, I think Jinner will have to be looked at for that one, because yeah, it's a bit of an odd place. Well, it's not an odd place to crash, but it's a bit of an odd situation that you've just got a penalty and then you decide to crash it into the wall there. Anyway, driver of the day is out, but I think the driver of the day is now a bit redundant until we can see what is going to happen here after this safety car. It is good news for Kamara Racer and for Sweet MJP, who have both just pitted for soft compound tyres, albeit they're going to be miles behind, but they're going to be able to join up to the back of the safety car queue, as Jinner is out of this Grand Prix. Same with KD and Crustia T. And right then, so now we can we have to wait once again there for the safety car. It will be an interesting one because the safety car will call itself back in at the end of lap 25, regardless of where everybody is. Their pot stuff there coming down the straight there. He's going to get himself past Dylan. Dylan's made a pit stop there from P1 into. He's going to be dropping down the field there. Unfortunately for him, he's going to be dropping down behind McConey there. Is he going to be behind V Todd? No, he's not. He's going to be in P8 there is Dylan there on the soft compound tyres. A lot more pit activity there for the drivers down the field. But yeah, unfortunately, this is sort of good news. It's good news for some, it's bad news for others, I think. But we'll have to wait and see if they can who can hold on, who can get past, and who can do what, because there's going to be an action-packed finish here in Silver. A 2-lap sprint to the end, I think. As we're going to have one more lap of safety car after this one, so it will be 25 is the end of lap 25 is when the safety car will come in. We'll have lap 26 and 27 of green flag racing to the end of the Grand Prix, and that'll be that for Suzuka, for Silver that is. Of course, there's more Suzuka action here coming up tomorrow night in Bronze. Tomorrow night for Silver, so for Bronze Season 6, round 16 in Japan. And that'll be Bronze tomorrow night from 7:30 p.m. there. And then on Wednesday, we've got F2 returning there. One shot quali, a sprint, and a feature race there for the F2. And that is on Wednesday night at 7:30 p.m. as well, here in Suzuka. So plenty of Suzuka action going on here this week for ALR. Of course, we're back after a 2-week break as well, so there is a lot of action here to unfold, and I think there's a lot of driver rustiness, you could say, that is still to be unfolded as well. As there we go. So yeah, it's a bit of a shame there, unfortunately, that we've had a couple of safety cars ruin the race. But yeah, nonetheless, we've got some action to have been had. The problem that Kamara Racer and Smith MVP are going to have is that they're not catching up to the back of the safety car queue quickly enough, because the safety car will be in at the end of next lap. So the question is, are they going to get themselves a bit of a move on? I think Kamara Racer just about caught up actually, which is not too bad. Kaz is in the pit lane. So Kaz, unfortunately, is going to demote himself down the order. Kamara is going to get that place. Sweet Defeat is going to be coming through as well, but he's coming through the Casio Triangle now. Unfortunately, is the Williams driver, so he's had his struggles. Has Sweet MVP there. Like I said, we saw him trying to recover the car there, and it just wouldn't. He just couldn't get it back underway. I don't think at some point. Now he's back up into P16. And like I was saying, safety car will begin at the end of this lap regardless of if there's anybody straggling behind. So you need to catch up with the safety car queue on this lap, otherwise you will be a bit too far back, unfortunately. Get your votes in for driver of the day then, everyone. You've got your choice of Dylan, Favre, Reflection or Gordo. And at the moment, we'll have a look at the position changes as well. But of course, we do expect some more position changes as well, because there are some drivers who've made a pit stop there for the soft compound tyres. Unfortunately, Kaz is going to, if he's going to be doing that for the rest of the lap, is going to miss out there on the restart there because he's going to be too far back. So there we go. B Rabbit is back into the lead there, of course, after Dylan's pit stop there. So we'll have to wait and see if there's going to be any more changes to the field there in the next 2 laps there. Of course, the last 2 laps there of this Grand Prix. And B Rabbit there will be getting the restart underway there at the end of this lap as well. Get your votes in then, guys, for the driver of the day there in the comment section. Dylan, Favre, Reflection or Gordo is your options, I should say. There is the position changes on the screen. I'll have a quick look at the tyre compounds as well, because Gordo's got 14 lap-old tyres, Favre's got 12 lap-old tyres. Who else is in there? Dylan has got 1 lap-old soft compound tyres, but he has, of course, made a pit stop there under that safety car when it did get called out. Gordo is done Gordo already. Reflection is on 1 lap-old soft compound tyres, so potentially could get himself through as well. Safety car is in this lap then, so B Rabbit now again will be leading us away for the restart here in Suzuka. And the last 2 laps here for Silver in Suzuka as well, as there goes the safety car there in towards the Casio Triangle there to finish off the lap for himself. Bert Mylander is back in the pit lane now. And now it is up to B Rabbit to get himself back underway in this Grand Prix. He has to go at some point, because otherwise Potstuff can just overtake him if he doesn't go before the start finish line. He has gone now. And away we go there. Here we go there. Vessier trying to get himself past Farf in towards turn one. It's going to be close indeed. There's going to be contact indeed. I think almost close indeed as well as Gordo there trying to hold on. Almost Gordo's being pushed by Farf, I think, through turn two. But Gordo holding on. Tango's got himself up into P9 there. We'll have a look at the position changes. We'll have a look at the tyre compounds as well. We'll have to come back to that as well. Urban's got himself past Mr. Elite. V-Todd's dropping down the field. It's a through onto the grass. There is V-Todd. I'm not quite sure what's happened to V-Todd there. He's having a few issues, unfortunately, for V-Todd. But nonetheless, he's cracking on, I should say, as Dopey Lemons is being passed by his teammate of Dylan there. Dylan now up into P6. I don't think there was going to be any problem there getting past Dopey Lemons there for Dylan. There was some T orders in play. And now can he get himself past Vestia there into the hairpin? It's going to go trying to go down the inside there. It's close indeed. There's almost contact between the McLaren and the Alfa Romeo, but thankfully not. Thankfully nothing too serious indeed anyway. Right then, that's good stuff indeed. So that 26 or 27, like I said, we're going to have some action packed, but thankfully it's been quite calm so far in this one. V-Todd has had a bit of an action packed sector one there, going through the grass there in the first opening lap there. Dylan getting himself past Vessia now up into P5, and Kenny trying to get himself, as we got more action there for Sweet MJP and Kamara Racer as Kaz has gone through into P14. Kamara Racer's got himself into a bit of a pickle there, I think, as Irvine and Mr. Elite are battling side by side through there as well. Tango's got himself past Reflection, I think, as Reflection and Beast are battling away. Here comes Reflection down the hill. They're all over the back of Makoni now, who's on the old hard compound tyres. He's trying to go around the outside on the grass. There is Reflection. That is dangerous stuff indeed. Down the inside goes Tango, is he? Can he get the move done? No, he can't quite get past Makoni there, but here comes Reflection. He's in P10 at the moment. Beast is in P4, P11, but Jinder has left the session. He's already out of the session, unfortunately. Is Jinder there? He caused the safety car, I think, actually, which is the reason for this manic restart. We've only got 2 laps of racing there. We're on the final lap of the Grand Prix. I completely didn't notice, but we're on the final lap of the Grand Prix. Look how close all the cars are. They're all in 1 second of each other, apart from V-Todd, who's had an issue there on the last lap. Here comes Dylan there on the inside of Farf. Now onto the outside of the hairpin there, trying to go down the outside, trying to hold it around the outside on the soft compound tyres. He's got the position, he's got the move, he's got the grip, he's got the pace there on the soft compound tyres. Tango and Beast battling away as well. Now Reflection is in that battle too for P11 for the points playing positions as well. They're going to be side by side now as we go through towards the spoon curve. It's going to be close indeed between the Mercedes and the Ferrari. There's contact between Tango and Beast. Avoiding action there for McLaren and Beast and V-Todd. Not Beast and V-Todd. Kaz is off the circuit as well. As Beast has got a 5. Oh, goodness me. Dylan and Gordo. Tango's retired. I think Tango retired on the circuit as well. Kaz is just stuck there as well. I'm not quite sure what Kaz is up to. But here comes the race leaders. Big Rabbit is going to win the Japanese Grand Prix in style as well there. Pot stuff in P2, and Gordo holds on to P3 with 17 lap old medium compound tyres. Farf there in P4, Vessia in P5, Dylan there in P6 there. Dopey Lemons, as Kaz has been disqualified for parking in dangerous locations, so that's his race done and dusted there at the end of the Grand Prix. Didn't even try and get himself restarted there, but blimey, we'll have to look through the classification again very shortly. Gordon there gets himself on the podium as he held on those medium compound tyres. And I think there was some late incidents there as well. Not to say the least, the ones we saw there with Beast and Tango there, but we saw an incident there, I think, with Farf and Dylan there at the Casio Triangle, which might have cost Dylan a chance of potentially getting that podium as well. But there is your podium sitters, your race winner there, B Rabbit there in P1. Then we've got Pot Stuff in P2 with a fantastic drive indeed as well. So well done to Pot Stuff there on his return in the Haas car. And Gordo there in P3, back on the podium. I think he got one podium. I think it might have been back in Belgium. But well done to him, getting himself back on the podium after a mammoth stint there on the medium compound tyres as well. But that is the race done and dusted. I think there's going to be a lot of action there to unfold in the stewards room after this Grand Prix. But B Rabbit there is your race winner for the round 16 of Silver Season 6 there here in Japan. There's Pot Stuff in P2, Gordo P3, Farf in P4, Vessia in P5, Dylan there in P6. I think there was a last corner incident there for Dylan, which cost him his place there, so they might be reviewed after the Grand Prix. In P6 there for Dylan there, Dopey Lemons in P7, Makoni there in P8 there, unfortunately on those hard compound tyres. Reflection there from P20 to P9 in the end with a 3 stop there. Irvine in P10, Mr. Elite in P11 there with a penalty. P3, unfortunately. Kamara Racer in P12 in the end there. V-Todd in P13. Beast in P14. Sweeter P there in P15. Tango P16. I think he retired on the track. Jinner in P17, unfortunately, had a big smash in a Dunlop curve. KD as well had a big smash, as did Krusty T, and Kaz was disqualified from this race. Right then, I think we're done. Unless we've got anybody here for the interviews, I'll just double check. No, don't think so. Oh, we've got B Rabbit there. B Rabbit is in the interviews. Well done to B Rabbit there. B Rabbit, you got yourself another race win. Did you think you had the race win on the cards there until that last safety car?
Yeah. The last safety car was unnecessary, I think. I was managing a little bit, so I think I could attack Dylan in the last or in the very last lap. But yeah, it was a little bit unlucky. It was a little bit risky. But luckily everyone was doing a good call. Like pitting so late is a high risk, so I was staying out, and yeah, then the restart was clean, was good. I was just yeah, driving away from the packs, and yeah, I'm happy with the race.
Well, it was another championship extending race for yourself as well. Do you think you might have the championship in the bag now?
If my math is right, it's more than 100 points available on the table, so we have to wait. We have to see. This right now, it's going good, but the season is not over yet.
Well, congratulations on yet another win, and you've got Qatar next up as well. Is in a week's time there for Silver. What's your thoughts on Qatar as a track? And of course, it's a sprint event as well. So, what's your thoughts there for the format and for the track itself?
Yeah, if I'm not wrong, it will be a sprint, so it will be really interesting. I already had a league race there, and I think you too, you as well. So Qatar is a great track, but it will be quite difficult to choose the right setup to get the right strategy. But it will be an interesting track. You have to watch the right lines to not get too many time penalties, but I think it will be fun.
Great stuff indeed, and well done, of course, for your Japanese race as well. I think, have we got anybody else in the party?
Thank you. Yeah, Gordo is here.
Gordo is here, is he? Good stuff indeed. Gordo, if you can hear me, say hello. Well, that's promising. I'm not quite sure if Gordo can hear us or not, but yeah, that's a bit of a shame there if you can't. We'll have to end it there, unfortunately, then. But well done to B Rabbit,
Hello?
well done to Pop Stuff in P2, and well done to Gordo there. So I think, as Gordo, was that Gordo saying hello, or was that somebody else?
Is it working now?
Oh, I think I can hear somebody. Is that you, Gordo? Can you say hello if you can hear me?
Hello?
Oh, that is Gordo then. We've got Gordo finally. Gordo there with a fantastic podium. I was just saying it in the comments. Oh, not in the comments, sorry, in the interviews there with B Rabbit as well. But what a fantastic race from yourself. Did you think you had a podium on the cards there at the beginning of the Grand Prix?
What was that? Sorry, I was just changing the microphone because it doesn't work great. Could you?
Did you think you had a podium on the cards there before the beginning of the Grand Prix? Hello?
Hello? Sorry, could you say what you just said again? I was changing the thing.
Did you think you had a podium on the cards there before the beginning of the Grand Prix?
Not a chance, no. I really don't like this track, to be told, in the game at least. I mean, I love Suzuka like in real life and stuff like that, but no, I didn't think I had a chance. I've been happy with points, to be honest, so it's a great result.
You did a cracking job there on the medium compound tyres. 17 laps as well, that final stint with that safety car as well, sort of helping out, I suppose, on the tyre wear side of things. But did you think, when you were the roles reversed then, did you think you were going to hold on to the podium there when the safety car came back in?
I was most worried about the Alfa Romeo and the softs. That was my main concern, because with the DRS I didn't really think people on older tyres would be able to get through, but with that big downforce difference I thought there might be a chance, but just managed to hold off at the end there, so didn't really expect it, but I'll take it.
No, it's a fantastic result for you. Like I was saying, the other podium I think was in Belgium for yourself. You got a P3 there as well. But no, congratulations once again with a fantastic stint and a fantastic race from yourself, Gordo. Well deserved. And what's your thoughts finally before we close off on Qatar next week?
See, to be honest, I've done very little races there. Up until a couple of years ago, I just thought it was a thing that folk played like an instrument, but I don't really know much about the track at all, to be honest. I'll just go there and see.
Fair play. Well, hopefully we'll have you back in the podium box, podium interviews one time soon, before the end of the season. But well done to Gordo, well done to Pot Stuff, like I said, in P2, and well done to B Rabbit, of course, the championship leader there, who's extended his championship lead there with another race win here tonight. Then Bronze, of course, here in Suzuka tomorrow night for round 16 of their season, and then we're back on Wednesday as well for F2 action, also in Suzuka. Going to be an interesting one that is as well. So stay tuned. And we'll see you very soon.